Franz Kafka's combination of narrative style and advancement of plot has been deemed a term of its own, Kafkaesque, depicted with surreal qualities established through a series of continual misfortune. A dreadful melancholy is disguised through a reasonable strangeness that encapsulates the identity of the protagonist. A blunt reality, created by external forces, draws against the defense of oneself. Kafka's works leaves little room to be questioned until the progression of the plot, as the reality for the main character is seen going from the seemingly bad to the relatively worse, without an open explanation to the reason behind his or her misery. His characters are displayed in an ordinary sense, lacking the otherwise fanciful elements portrayed in some fictional works. This allows readers to establish a similarity to the thoughts and actions conveyed by the vulnerable protagonist the story surrounds. Gregor Samsa, The Hunger Artist, and Joseph K., for example, all share some aspect of the lives of ordinary working-class citizens whose value comes from their cooperation in demanding society. Though their circumstances are extreme, these characters are bound to their work, actions, or states of being to impress individuals of the greater class and retain their dignity, a commonality anchored in the real world. The bleak, restricted, and demanding environment that Franz Kafka himself grew up in the late 1800s amidst industrialization shapes the situations that the protagonists of his novels experience, revealing indirectly pieces of his own mind's misery. The mundane lives of his characters reflect his own perceptions towards himself and the demanding external forces that shaped his career, behavior, and actions in his own life. The aftermath of the Industrial Revolution was the fast-paced production of goods, dependence on machinery, advancement in technology, and busier working schedules for the common class. The rushed pace that is often brought out in the lives of the characters in Kafka's novels is inspired from the working class in Prague during the Second Industrial Revolution, characters occupied usually by their tedious jobs and amongst powerful authority figures. The recurring motif of work in Kafka's novels conveys that tedious routine runs parallel to the protagonist, whose equally repetitive lives are dependent upon their actions, relating back to the reality of our society. Likewise, it is guilt disguised as confusion that strikes Kafka's characters from their physical and psychological comfort when they are deprived of the societal approval they used to create a sense of purpose in their lives. A family has agreed to disown a son, a brother, whose physical form is now revolting and who can no longer contribute to fulfill economic necessities. A man starves on, admiring others' recognition of his act, while in actuality, insincerely putting on the act, having never found enjoyment in any of the food he ever came across. A man is put under trial for reasons never clearly explained, and confronts many authority figures in hopes to clear his name, only to be executed in the end. Hidden in each of these Kafkaesque scenarios are grounded truths that we can relate to, involving passivity and not being able to help others or ourselves, being misunderstood, being unpopular, or having physical or mental illness. Through reading Kafka's novels, we know we can ultimately relate our underlying sense of failure to faults pointed out in the characters he writes about. Kafka's descriptions of the settings, the thoughts of the protagonist, and the random scenarios the protagonist faces creates an insightful perspective limited to the reader, which allows the reader to feel sympathy and connect back to the personal experiences. Still, there's a tunneling effect on the course of events that occur in the lives of Kafka's characters that give little pause to examine the circumstances that lead up to the present. And thus, just like the characters written to experience inevitable hardships and question their lives, we sometimes recall times when we felt equally as helpless and try to make sense of it all.